Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. I could wait a few days and wait until we really have some concrete, verifiable information on Alatreon, but I wanted to give the hints that I'm seeing today by watching all of you guys playing all these videos on YouTube. There's starting to become a very clear picture of how to approach the monster, and because everybody, myself included, was really frustrated at the Nova that it can do, I wanted to put out this video right away to give you guys some advice, and hopefully it will help you out. Because this is really early, there may be some information that I don't include here which becomes clear later on, or things that are just a little bit different than our current understanding, so please add in the comments below if you spot anything that is wrong or you wanted to add that is useful. Okay, so Capcom gave us a huge hint on their Twitter page. They talk about the Evening Star, in which Alatreon starts out in fire mode, or they talk about the Dawn of the Death Star, in which it starts out in ice. This is absolutely critical to how you start and approach the hunt, and will change whether you fail or you succeed by a long shot. Two different quest names, they're going to alternate depending on which one you know the starting one. So if Alatreon is starting out in fire, then you want to go in there with an ice weapon. If you don't, then water can be used, but it won't be quite as effective as ice. On the flip side, if Alatreon is in ice mode, you want to go in there with a fire weapon. If you don't have that, then a thunder weapon is good, but not quite as good as fire. Do not try this hunt with a raw, non-elemental weapon or a status weapon like blast, poison, or anything like that. If you get kicked online, don't be upset, because those weapons are not for this hunt. This is exclusively for elemental weapons. That's the point of the hunt. So the flow of the hunt is actually pretty easy to understand. Let's say it starts out in fire, which is on the left-hand side here. During this mode, if you do enough elemental damage, like effective elemental damage like ice or water, you'll get a message from the handler or whoever it is on the right hand side of the screen letting you know that you have weakened Alatreon's power. This means that when it tries to do its one-hit kill, it's not going to one-hit kill you. You're going to be able to survive it by using potions, Astera Jerky, and stuff like that. You can hit the front legs of Alatreon. That's a very popular method I'm seeing from a lot of hunters. Or if you have problems breaking the head, you might want to just focus on the head earlier on to prep it for the next phase, which is super important. So after a few minutes, it goes from fire into its dragon form. This is your last chance. If you didn't break the head, you've got to break it. Because if you break the horn, what it does is it stops it from moving into the ice form. Which, of course, if you're going in there with an ice weapon and it goes into ice form, you're not going to be doing any more elemental damage to it effectively, meaning it's going to pull off its one-hit kill. You're not going to be able to weaken the judgment. So you have to make sure you break the horn so they can go from dragon back to fire so you can handle it again. At this point, it is rinse and repeat. Just do the same thing again. Hit it enough times when it's in its fire mode with an ice or water weapon, and you'll get the message saying that you've weakened it. And then when it goes into dragon mode for the second time, make sure you break that second horn. That'll make it go back into fire, and you can do it again. Now at this point, you're not going to be able to lock it into fire. Like if it goes into dragon and then it goes over to ice, you're going to have problems because you're not going to have elemental damage to deal with the ice form. So basically what you want to do is if you're confident you can break the head, you can go in there solo or with a group of hunters all using the same element. So if it's a fire quest, all go in there with ice and water. If you're not that confident that you can break the head, which I guess I would just say you should probably practice, but if you can't, then what you could do is a 50-50 split. You can have two of you guys using ice and water, and the other two of you using fire and thunder. That way, if in one of the dragon forms you fail to break its horn and it goes into the opposite element, you won't have to deal with the judgment wiping out all four hunters, because there is no way to survive the judgment if you haven't weakened it. And that's really all there is to it. Now, there are a few hints that I want to give, which I've seen in videos, which could help you guys out. One is that you can actually, there are a few locations on the stage where you can ram Alatreon into a rock or wall to hit its head. That will obviously knock it down, give you great opportunity to attack its horns, and it'll just make it that much more easier to break them before he switches over to the other element. The other piece of advice is that when Alatreon does that sort of like levitating move where he starts barfing out ice and does this very long ice attack, that is your cue to go ahead and use a clutch claw onto its head and weaken those horns, which is going to help you out even more. Other than that, my last piece of advice is that it is very counterintuitive to have four hunters online attacking the head at the same time, but that is exactly what you need to do if you're not breaking those horns. This quest, two requirements: you need to elemental damage to weaken the attack, and you need to break the horns so that it doesn't change into the opposite element. So those are the two factors. Hopefully this overview helps you guys out. Let me know down in the comments below how it goes, and until next time, happy hunting.